SoCal Prep Report with just Stray and Bob Gibson here. Just discuss. Bob was reliving the old days, and I can't relate. He's so much older than me, Bob.
Well, you know,
Anyways, listen, we are 1/3 the way through the high school football season, believe it or not. For most schools, it's the halfway point, Bob.
Are you kidding me?
Well, this is one of the 15-game season.
I got some bones to pick today. One of them is happy fall to everybody. But I think the CIF playoffs start next week, for crying out loud. Come on, let's move it back. Let's not start, in April, start playing football. That's what it feels like now, man. We're in like week 7 already, I think.
Yeah, it's like school gets out in June and they're starting in July, baby. Games are on.
I got more bones to pick.
Listen, Bob, everybody loves football. Do you like the bye week?
No, and I also don't like week 0. Why do we call something week 0? Hello?
Why do they call it Coke 0?
It doesn't exist if it's a 0.
Sounds good.
Week 1 should be week 1. This is 0.
Yeah, not a lot rhymes with 0,
I'm done with that.
Anyway, listen, it's been busy, and let's get to it. The only way to do that is take a look at Top 10 No Love Club. We're going to take a look at the national picture.
Let's get there.
Randy Rosenbloom's coming on. Going to talk a little bit about the LA City section, and then we're going to get down to taking a look at some matchups. Of course, Carlos Peña will also join us soon, but let's take a look at some highlights
right off the top
from around Friday night. We had our crew out getting some shots, and here's Alemany taking on Downey. And I believe this is at Downey's. It's kind of a new stadium, Bob. This stadium is about 10 years old, but it looks just like a college stadium. And there you see Alemany, man, just taking it to the Vikings, because it's 37-0 was the final, so I know the Vikings didn't score.
Yeah, that was not right. That wasn't Downey doing much there. No, Alemany has really planted their flag this year, haven't they? They're back.
Well, Bob,
this Alemany's program that you thought may have been down for a little bit. No, this is a program that's really back on the main stage now.
Bob, I wasn't impressed with their first 3 games of the season because all the schools had losing records to that point. They didn't play anybody. But then they got into Oaks Christian, and they didn't just beat them. They beat them bad. Yeah. I mean, really bad. They left them black and blue. So hats off to Alemany. They may be the real deal. They are in Division III. They will not be playing in Division I, II this year, Bob.
Don't forget, it used to be Oaks and Westlake was that big matchup.
Look at the club, Bob.
There's the glove.
Well, they give you that when you do a good big play or something like that. They pass that around. Some guys pass around a dog head. You've seen that, right?
You got the chain, right?
You got
the turnover chain, right? You're right. Everybody's
10
got
chains,
something.
baby.
Right.
Yeah, so you have all that stuff going around.
Everybody's got something.
Yeah.
But big win for Alemany. Again.
Having a hatchet or a sticker on your helmet isn't good enough anymore. You got to have bling, baby.
You got to have the bling.
Another game that was pretty good. I believe this is 28-21, but it might have been 28-20, Bob. We got so many scores going. We got to go through hundreds of these things every week. But anyways, this game at the Pit at St. Paul. Again, Sierra Canyon, this was a tight ball game. You see the buildings in the back? They used to be nothing but fields in the old days.
Right. Now they've built up that school a little bit, haven't they?
Well, they'd have to drive around out there and troll for spies and stuff like that, because back in those days, people were doing stuff like that.
Look at that nice catch right there, tiptoe on the sideline.
Absolutely.
That's a big-time catch right there.
There's the Ansitz Fieldhouse. And again, St. Paul in the dark blue. Let's see if somebody's going to return a kick here or something bad's going to happen. And yes, something bad just happened. That was a punt, man. But anyways, St. Paul, very small school here out in Whittier, and of course Sierra Canyon out there in the valley, so to speak.
Some schools are just waiting for basketball, but Sierra Canyon is not one of those. Yeah, you're right. They can't wait for basketball, but in the meantime, they got a really good football team out here too. They're
going to be wild this year. They're wild every year in basketball.
Basketball is going to be it's going to be out of hand.
We'll talk about that down the road.
But we'll get there when we get there. But first of all, this football program, though, this is you got to credit John Ellinghaus, man. He is really just completely just taking this program, and sometimes you got a coach that comes in and the program for 1 or 2 years, then they drop way off. No, this is a program that's been on the map. I think they're going to stay there for a long time. This is a really good football program here in Southern California. It's a small school.
Absolutely. Now let's take a look at the top 10. Let's start at the top, man. Work our way down. We see Mater Dei did not play this week, and it's probably a good thing they didn't. I mean, they've really come out and played everybody. They played, 2 top 10 teams already, Bob, plus Corona Centennial.
Right.
And we'll talk about their game this week against DC St. John's, which is another big game. Here we go.
Real quick, though, Mater Day, they had the bye week just in time for their quarterback, Bryce Young, to decommit from USC because he went on an official visit to Alabama, and you know who sunk his teeth into Bryce Young at Alabama.
Yeah, but you know what? It's not going to matter.
The old ball coach over there. He got himself another quarterback to come play, and he got the best one in the nation, by the way. Bryce Young, #1 quarterback prospect in the nation.
Prospect is the key word, Bob.
Going to go play at Alabama instead of USC. That's a big get.
Well, I'll give it to him. He gets
He
gets to play with all the top talent, in Southern California on his team. But he's going to get to play at a college level where he's going to have top talent again.
Yeah. Oh,
we'll see how he fares.
Without a doubt. Hey, everything at USC is just in chaos, and we know what's going on at Alabama. So no doubt there. And with DJ Uiagalelei at Bosco going to Clemson, the #1 and #2 teams in the nation, we're going to see those two quarterbacks go against each other at collegiate level, I got a feeling, too.
Of course, the 1 or 2 teams in the nation are also on top of our top 10. Let's take a look again. St. John Bosco in the #2 spot. They took on this week, I believe it was number 18, Milani, Hawaii. They defeated them 42-10. Doesn't matter, Bosco, Mater Dei. They've been playing a national schedule, teams in the top 10, top 15, top 20, and they just roll over everybody. So we'll see what happens, including Centennial.
How do we have Centennial third?
They still are because they're good, Bob. Who'd they lose to? They lose to two top 20 teams in the country, Bob.
Who have they beaten?
They've beaten everybody they played
except
except Mater Dei.
I'll take that off the board, but they lost to Cathedral Catholic. That's a bad loss for Centennial.
Doesn't matter. They're
top
15 team in the nation,
That's a loss and needs to knock them down. I'm sorry.
Talk to them about it.
Mission Viejo should be 3. J. Sarah
should
be 4.
Rosenbloom.
Centennial should be 5.
Talk to Conti. They're the ones that put this
together.
Hey, don't get on me about it,
I'll pick my bone later with all those gentlemen, but I don't. Sorry, I like Matt Logan is the salt of the earth.
Bob,
for
you
me,
can't be complaining here, man. This is not your forum to do that.
This isn't Centennial's program from a couple years ago. This is not 2019, and that team's not as good this year as Mission Viejo or J. Sarah.
You wait till we go to Corona for that Corona Centennial game, Bob.
They're going to welcome me with open arms, aren't they?
They're
going to welcome me with open arms.
Oh, yeah.
Matt Logan loves me.
All right, #4 position is Mission Viejo, and rightfully so. Mission Viejo continuing on their tradition. They're 5-0. J. Sarah this last week knocked off Calabasas, man. Do you see General Booty, man?
Yeah.
First play from scrimmage, he goes 75 yards on a bootleg, and it wasn't really a bootleg. He just went up the gut and outran everybody to the end zone. And when you can outrun the safety, DBs, and everybody to the end zone when you're 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage, you're pretty good. You're pretty quick. Not to mention that he's got a good arm on him, so I was very impressed. And it wasn't like, the General did this against a mid-level team, just a local team from the neighborhood. He did against Calabasas, which is almost a parochial school with all the talent that just kind of shows up there, if you know what I mean.
Remember I said a week ago, we're going to find out something about Calabasas or J. Sarah. Somebody was going to make a statement in this one, and it's J. Sarah that made the statement. That's a big, big win for them.
Just don't pick them. Don't pick them, Bob, because you're going to give them the kiss of death,
They're still only the 3rd best team in their league, unfortunately, for them. But
okay, after Michigan, we're looking at J. Sarah. Of course, Grace Brethren follows them. As you see at Grace Brethren, I believe Grace Brethren had a bye week as well. Narbonne also won their game this week, so they had a big game in Sarah, Bob, 28-21 game.
That's a big win for Narbonne right there. And they're starting to roll. They've got all their pieces in place now.
And I know people have been waiting to hear this, and Sarah lost to Narbonne, and they're number 8 now, Bob. So there we go. And then Norco continuing on their winning ways.
Which 3 teams are tied for number 10? Come on.
Well, there's no 3 teams tied. It's pretty much wide open, and we're throwing Notre Dame, Sierra Canyon, Servite. All those schools are kind of mentioned in there. You can't separate any one of those 3 or 4. Bob, you can throw anybody you want in there. Go ahead. Throw 10, Bob.
Corona
Rosenbloom,
Del
don't shake
Mar,
your head,
baby.
man. You tell him who's 10.
Corona.
He wants Frank San Fernando. There you go.
San Pedro.
There you go. Leave it to Randy. He may not be wrong. Who knows?
Go to the No Love. That's where I finally get to see Corona Del Mar.
All right, let's go to No Love Club.
No
Love Club, of course, are the schools that are just from the neighborhood. They usually don't recruit a lot of athletes. You will not find a ton of Division I's at any of these schools. You might get 1 or 2 if you're lucky.
There's a few.
If you're lucky. Corona Del Mar, of course, I don't think they played this week, Bob. Neither did Cypress, so they're going to be in the 1 and 2 position because a lot of people lost this week. Culver City defeated Palos Verdes 55-52, Bob. And it wasn't even an overtime game.
Was that like the UCLA-Washington State game right there?
No defense, brother. Coachella over University 50-0. Western over Glenn 48-zip. Glenn used to be a No Love clubber.
Right.
They've been getting clubbed ever since. No, we should have left them out. Sorry about that,
them.
Coach. Northview lost to Los Altos 36-14. They dropped from number 2. Lawndale defeated Crenshaw 48-20, but Crenshaw's just not Crenshaw anymore. Randy, what is Crenshaw now? Come on. We'll let you think. You think
a
of.
mediocre city team that will still win the Coliseum League.
Okay.
All right, good enough. I'll take
All right.
that because I don't know. I'm asking. All right. And then we have Ocean View defeated Estancia 12-7. Bob, I know that's not a strong showing, but it's good enough to be in the No Love Club.
Isn't.
Glendora over West Covina 45 set.
Glendora is a team that needs to rise up in these rankings. Glendora is the real deal this year. I'm telling you out there. San Gabriel Valley not getting any love from anybody. Glendora's, they might be the best team out there. Amat may be, hey, out the door. This might be Glendora's year to be #1 in the SGV.
And Bob, look at your boys from Pericleti. We know it's Pericleti, but Pericleti is the inside
Trust
joke.
us, that's funny.
Yeah, it is funny. Pericleti right there. I know they're 3-2, but look at that. 31-6 over Redondo. They play a pretty big schedule. Matter of fact, they played the Generals team last year from San Antonio, Texas. And now we see what the Generals doing at J. Sarah.
Paraclete always plays a tough schedule.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good program, too.
That's how they get there.
They'll be rising up on that No Love.
All right, to round out the CIF Southern section before we get to the city section and the national poll, let's go to our boy, Carlos Peña. Come on, he's in the high desert. Come on, Bob.
That's our guy.
I set him up perfectly.
I'm sorry, I'm supposed to knock that one out of the
Carlos
park.
Peña. Carlos Peña, everybody.
Hey guys, I'm back. Thanks for having me on the show once again, Rich, Bob. Good to see you again. Folks, I'm Carlos Peña. Welcome to this week's SoCal Prep High Desert Edition. Adelanto taking on Apple Valley. Let's go straight to the action.
Adelanto's Angel Ochoa quickly tries to set a passing game with his slant to Rashawn Ramsey. Saints go right back to him on the ground, only to meet the Sun Devils' big defense. Later on in the series, an Angel Ochoa takes to the air, only to give up the ball to Apple Valley. Apple Valley with the ball, and 6'5" sophomore quarterback Jaden Denegal throws a strike to Ryan Webster. Sun Devils strike first. Moving on to second quarter action, and Jaden Denegal shows off his rollout technique. 10 yards out, and the Sun Devils take to the ground. Touchdown, Kenyard Edwards, 13-0 after a failed point after. Last minute of the first half, and the Sun Devils pull off some razzle-dazzle. Wide receiver Lane Scharnberg rolls out, looks deep, and finds receiver Marquise Cato behind Saint 1 and Saint 2 in the end zone. The Sun Devils will go on to win 26-7, putting them on top of the High Desert game. Adelanto has had a challenging season so far, going outside the High Desert to meet the likes of Las Vegas, Bassett, and this week, Carson. The Sun Devils have yet to travel and will take on undefeated Serrano later this season. Now let's take a look at the High Desert top 5. Apple Valley hands down, scoring 248 points for, but they have yet to come down the hill and challenge someone. Serrano in second with wins over Yucaipa and Carter. The Diamondbacks will soon meet the Sun Devils to find out who is the High Desert big dog. Number 3, Adelanto. Unable to topple the Sun Devils, they're forced to stay in the number 3 spot. Number 4, enter Palmdale. They recently took a big loss and could easily be in the 1 or 2 spot, but there is plenty of football left. They've only allowed 69 points, just behind Serrano. Hesperia brings up the rear, just above highly regarded Granite Hills. Folks, that completes this week's High Desert Football Report. Back to you guys.
Muchas gracias, Carlos, man. We really appreciate it. Greetings from the High Desert,
I
right?
love it. I love it in the High Desert.
All right.
We see Carlos where he's got the tank top, then he goes to the jacket at some point,
Yeah,
right?
it's going to
get cold out there pretty quick.
He's going to freeze, man. We know it. All right, Randy Rosenbloom's joining us now. We're going to talk real quick about the up-and-coming matchups this week that are kind of interesting, and then we'll get into some of the nation stories, especially that top 10, Bob, because it's all about California.
Yeah, it really is.
It just is. How can you ignore it if it's all about California?
It's all right
Southern
here.
California.
It's all right here.
All right. Let's take a look at some of the games of the week that we're going to be looking at, and let's start with Corona Del Mar, Bob. They're taking on San Clemente. San Clemente's 5-0. Corona Del Mar's 4-0. It's going to be a good ball game. Corona Del Mar's explosive. They have a very good offense. They're averaging 43 points a game. They allow in just 12, while San Clemente, they're just steady. They score about 4 touchdowns a game. They're averaging 27 points, and they're only allowing 10. So this is going to be a good matchup, Bob. A while back, I don't know, man. San Clemente might dominate this game, but Corona Del Mar is never to be overlooked.
And I think this is really the chance for Corona Del Mar to prove that they belong in our top 10. They win this game, they're going to get in that top 10. I believe they are going to win this game over San Clemente.
Bob, they're not going to get into the top 10.
That's no hollow win over. That's a good San Clemente team right now. You saw those 2 undefeated teams right there. And San Clemente's been the second best team in South Orange County for a long time now. Hard to top Mission Viejo.
Hey, man,
but San Clemente's been right there.
We'll get the ballots. We'll tally them up.
I like CDM.
What do you got to say, Randy?
I have to agree with Bob. The passing game, are you
all right.
kidding? Corona Del Mar, they can throw the football.
Oh, yes, they
I think
can.
they outscore San Clemente and win the football game. I agree with Bob Gibson.
Wow. I like
Man,
that.
Colonel
So you're
Down-
going San Clemente, aren't you?
Colonel Del Mar, man, kiss of death, both these guys.
Sea
I don't
Kings.
even have to pick one because I'm already telling you right now, it doesn't look good for Colonel Del Mar.
All right,
That's
we'll
all I'm
see.
saying.
Have we gotten a
We'll
pick
see.
right all year? I don't know.
Not Bob.
Maybe.
Not Bob. Nope, I refuse to do it. All right, continuing on, take a look at other games this week of interest. Servite taking on Notre Dame. Servite, of course, of the Trinity League. Surprisingly, 3-1. These teams are mirror images. Servite putting up 40 a night. Notre Dame putting up 36. Both teams have pretty much mirror images on defense. Last non-league game for both these guys. Fellas, Servite's going to get into some heavy traffic once they get into the Trinity
Yes,
League
they
play.
are.
Notre Dame also doesn't have it any easier. They got Alemany in there, Sarah. They got everybody in their division as well in their
Look,
league.
I called Jay Sarah the third best team in the Trinity earlier. Servites, they're probably take issue with that. They're saying, hey, I think we got a chance to beat Jay Sarah. And they probably have a right to believe they could win that game. This is a very young Servite team, so for them to be that good this quick, there's the Troy Thomas factor right there. Troy Thomas has come back and really put his program back into place there at Servite.
Interesting observation, Bob. Randy.
Servite's going to get into traffic, but it's be on the freeway getting to the San Fernando Valley. I like Kevin Rooney as a coach. He's been there over 30 years at Notre Dame Sherman Oaks. He wins the football game. He wins big games. Even though they've had some tough games, they've won close games earlier in the year, so they've been in dogfights. I like the Knights.
All right.
Hard to beat a Trinity team.
I like the night, too.
I like
Nightlife's
Sherman
great.
Oaks, Notre Dame. Sherman Oaks,
Of course,
Notre
Richard
Dame.
Stray
Here we
has
go.
no opinion. On who's
Finally,
gonna
a
win that
city
ball
school
game.
to
Look
talk
at
about.
this.
All right,
game.
Narbonne, Lawndale, 4-1 going against 3-1. Let's talk about Narbonne. You know, both these teams again, two mirror images. Narbonne's been lighting it up, 35 points a game, allowing 18. Lawndale, 32 points a game, scoring and 20 allowed. So mirror images. These guys are kind of right down the street from each other in a way, same geographical area. Randy, city section, pretty much. Let's talk about this game.
All right, they met last year at Narbonne. It was a very tight game. Narbonne won it, getting a late touchdown to seal it 27-14. I really believe this is a very vulnerable game for the Gauchos. They've had a brutal schedule. They're coming off the win over Sarah. Lawndale's got a lot of great athletes. This is a spot I'm concerned about for Narbonne. I think they can win the game. I'm not so sure. This is a game they could fall in. Lawndale's got a great chance at home.
Bob, go ahead and beat a kiss of death, man. Go ahead and ruin somebody's day.
Narbonne by 2 touchdowns.
Really?
Yep. Wow. I think the Gauchos are just rolling right now. I think we've just seen them start to scratch the surface.
Well, I'm
of
going to talk about it when
what
I get to
they
my
can
city
do
report.
on the football field. They got all their people in place
Yep.
now, and I think Narbonne's ready to show everybody just how good they are.
It'll be a good game, no matter how you look at it. Okay, let's take a look at number 1 Modern Day going against number 40 in the country, St. John's. Now look at their record. They're 2-3, but don't let that deceive you. St. John's is a perennial top 10 team. They're very good. The problem this year is out of the chutes, they've already played 2 teams in the top 10, and they've been respected. The games have been respectable. They're not getting blown out. Let's not forget they played IMG, who some teams have high as number 3 right now, and they played Duncanville, Texas, who's number 8 in our national poll. So it's not like St. John's is run from anybody. They've also had another loss against a top 20 team in the nation. So St. John has a Modern Day-esque schedule in the fact that Modern Day has taken on a bunch of top 10 teams too, and they just kick everybody's tail. This game, I don't see how St. John's wins this game, fellas.
I don't either, and there's no weakness in Modern Day, and I hate to say that because there's a weakness in every team somewhere, and maybe it'll be until Jason Negro finds it and Bosco is the team that beats Modern Day. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but right now, for what the Monarchs are doing, I don't see a weakness anywhere in their game.
Yeah, and Bryce Young now wants to showcase his skills to the rest of the country. Now he's going across the country. He just, as you noted earlier in the show, decommitted from SC. He's going to Alabama. Now he's going to show people all over the country, in particular in the capital of the country, in Washington, what he's made out of. Bryce Young will win the football game. Modern Day stays unbeaten.
So what do you think? What do you think they told him? What kind of good old boy slick trick did they pull on the city slicker to get him to go to Alabama?
It's Alabama, man.
He's been going to SC, but I think they said, look, there's a logjam at quarterback over there.
Right.
Clay Helton's not a very good coach, which, you know, he's a good coach, but he's not real good. He's not an Urban Meyer type, who will probably end up coaching at USC, I hope. They need to get somebody
It's
that
all
caliber.
about the environment. If you go to Alabama, and I've been there and watched and done football games with the University of Alabama, the environment, the tailgating, it's just a different world.
Oh, no,
SEC.
wait a minute.
It's
But
a
wait a
different
minute. No,
world.
no. I've been to games with SEC people at USC, and they say the tailgates at USC on campus are much better than they are in Alabama. That comes from Auburn.
severely
And,
disagree with
I've
that.
been to both.
I've been at the
No.
Auburn, Alabama
Well,
game.
you've seen
It's a
USC. They don't
completely
have
different
40,000
world.
people on campus partying down like they do over there.
I've been at Toomer's Corner in Auburn for the Auburn, Alabama
You know
game.
why they call it Toomer's Corner, right?
It's a drugstore, and they toilet paper it.
Like
and
I
Toomer's
said,
Corner's
you know why they call it
unbelievable.
Toomer's Corner? Get out of here, Brandon. You're not going to sell me on Alabama. There's nothing
I'm
to
not
do
trying
now.
to sell you. I'm just telling you
There's
why the
nothing
kids
to
are
do
going
there. He's going to be bored out of his gourd and want to come home after 2 weeks.
I don't think so.
I'm just saying.
Jake Garcia has just committed to USC.
There it is.
Who's that?
Jake Garcia just
There you
committed
go.
to USC. So
Your boy Jake
from
Garcia.
Narbonne.
I was going to get to that.
Well, there you
Well,
go.
dude, Jerry Garcia's
Larry
grandson.
Savala, our producer, just
Great-grandson.
broke the just
From
broke
the Grateful
news.
Dead.
Well, Jake Garcia was always going to go to USA, as far as I know.
All right. Have we pretty much beat this to death now?
Have we got
These
it?
games of the
Am I
week?
supposed to do my top 10 yet, or what?
Well, go ahead, Randy.
good. You wanna go
Don't
next?
let me
Let's do
stop
it.
you.
Well, this is the city top 10,
Right.
of course.
Do it.
Jake Garcia and Narbonne, number one as always. After the 28-21 victory, they were impressive against Sarah High School. That's the fourth year in a row they've won that battle. And Jake Garcia said after the game, I believe Narbonne's the top-ranked team in the country. He believes they're the best team in the country.
What do you want
he
him to
said that
say?
in an interview.
What do you want him to say?
He just said it. They're the best team in the country.
Then how come they got a loss on there?
Because Trayshawn Holden didn't play earlier in the year. Now he's available. And that's my link to Bryce Young.
Wait a minute.
Holden's going to Alabama.
If you're missing
Uh-huh.
one, if you're missing one dude and you lose a game, that doesn't give me a lot of confidence.
He's not
in
just
you.
a normal dude. Trayshawn Holden is big time. He's the one that knocked off Sarah. He had a 27-yard touchdown reception. He had an 80-yard kickoff return to start the second half for a
Interesting.
touchdown. He's the one that didn't play against Lone Peak. Trayshawn Holden is the real deal. He is my link to Mater Dei and to Bryce Young. They're both going to Alabama. It's going to be Young to Holden in years to come.
Who's that head coach at Alabama?
He's not even a national champ for the last 3 years,
Right?
man.
He
Come on.
isn't from the city anyway.
Trying to get back on the map at Alabama.
I got to get to my number 2 team. It's still San Pedro.
It's
They
the wrong
didn't play
team.
last
There you
week.
go, man.
San Pedro may get tested this week.
I told you I got San Fernando too all season.
No,
long.
we'll talk about that.
right.
But I like San Pedro. Josh Ward, the running back, who I've been talking about all season long. 15 yards a carry he's averaging. He has
pretty
8
good.
touchdowns. He's got 26 tackles on defense in 4 games, too. San Pedro is great. San Fernando's got an excellent squad. That's Bob's team. They're 4-0. They're at RESEDA this week. They have a running back, Bradley Pierce, outstanding. He's averaging 13 yards a carry and has scored 5 touchdowns
That was Garfield 4 at 2-2.
because the city has struggled with
Bob, you don't know
powerhouse
nothing
teams.
about the city. Let Randy talk about the city,
I know,
man.
but
Just-
I got to throw in for Canoga Park a little bit here. I know you'll get to them, but come on.
They lost. Canoga Park lost this last week at RESEDA.
it's like
They're good.
Hey, you got to look at P.J. Garcia.
Bob, you
Great
got to tell
running
Randy
back.
about this.
Another
No,
great
I know,
running
I
back.
know.
It's
This
like
is-
Randy trying to
I
teach
know.
Serena Williams how to serve a tennis
I'm trying
ball.
to talk him into some different
No,
rankings
no,
here in the
Garfield's
city.
going to be there in the end. Lorenzo
Bob
Hernandez
agreed.
is great. P.J. Garcia, their running back, 527 yards and 10 rushing touchdowns so far. Banning, by the way, all the teams 2-2 were idle last week. Banning, 2-2, but they've won their last 2 games. I really like their football team. They go to Elsinore, and that's not going to be easy. They lost 29-27 when they hosted the Tigers last year. They lost by 2. Now they got to go on the road. That's a tough assignment for Banning. Palisades has won 4 in a row, so I've moved them up to number 6. They beat a pretty good Brentwood team. They have a bye this week before they play Westchester, so that's where I have Pally. My number 7 team is Bob's Canoga Park Hunters. Now, the Hunters were 4-0. They had fashioned 3 shutouts in a row.
I know
They
it.
go to RESEDA, and they get blown out.
Well,
They got blown out. And I like RESEDA. Drenell Rhodes is a wonderful wide receiver, caught a 60-yard touchdown pass from Butler early in the game, and that was it. Canoga Park never got into the game and got blown out. But I still think they're one of the top 10 teams, and I got the Hunters at number 7. Westchester bounces back. They beat View Park, not a great surprise. They're 4-1. They've had one earlier loss, and they'll have a bye this week. I have Venice at number 9. I want more from Luca Diamant, the great quarterback. His numbers are somewhat benign, but I still think Venice is dangerous. I expect them to explode offensively. down the stretch. And then I have, as always, I have a tie for 10 because, like Rich said earlier with the Southern section, there's so many teams at the 10 spot. I got Reseda there off the nice victory. Reseda deserves to be up there, you know, defeating Canoga Park. And Franklin, I got to 4-1 now. The Panthers, very good performance. Alfred Bobadilla throws for over 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, and ran for 3 scores in their most recent win. They're going to Wilson this week. They'll win again to go to 5-1. I love the Franklin Panthers. Their only loss is to San Fernando, who Bob loves at number 3
let me
there.
tell you something.
But Franklin's very good.
Bob thinks that Corona Del Mar should be in this top 10. I'm telling you right now. I'm serious. I'm not kidding.
Move Corona Del Mar to the city section. There we go.
No, we don't want to do that.
All right.
All
All right, I have a couple key games.
Wait,
I think we're going to show some key games.
Randy, we have to move because I'm getting the wind up already.
Uh-oh.
What? I went to,
National top 10. Let's roll it. We'll correct real
I
quick.
can't go to my city top
We
games?
might be able to get there. Let's take a look at the national
my city
picture.
top games.
Modern Day did not play. They remain number 1. Bosco defeated the number 18 team in the country, Alemany, 42-10. St. Louis, Hawaii beat Pahu, Hawaii, 25-19. They're bad, dude.
They beat Punahou?
Whatever. No, it's Punahou. Anyway, St. Thomas Aquinas beat Miramar 36-zip. St. Francis Academy, Modern Day, just beat the snot out of.
Saints we got.
Beat
We got a lot
Northern
of Saints.
49-zip. St. Joseph Regional, New Jersey, beat DePaul, Bob. Duncanville, Texas did not play. Gonzaga beat Avalon out here at the island out here in L.A. Catalina.
Right.
Not really, but I'll say it.
Sounds
All right,
good, though.
Lakeland, Florida beat Halloween 37-6, and Concord de La Salle beat Buchanan 35-0. What are we looking at? 10 seconds, 20 seconds? Randy, go. What do you got? We got 1 minute. Just
1
throw it
minute.
out
Key
there
game.
fast.
San Fernando at Reseda. I wanted to talk about. That's
All
the
right.
key matchup.
That's the matchup
We're going
right
to find
there.
out about San Fernando this week.
are
Reseda's
indeed.
dangerous at home. Brett Butler can throw the football. He's got great receivers. They don't lose at home.
He was a heck of a center fielder.
Who
back
wins?
in the
Corona
90s
del
with the
Mar or
That's
San
Brent. This is
Fernando?
Brent.
Bob?
Oh, sorry.
Okay,
Corona del
this
Mar,
is
San
a
Fernando.
very
Who wins
good
that?
Reseda Regents team.
That's a great question.
They
That'd
got
be
a
a good
shot
game.
here.
Would be a good
And
game.
Arleta and Chavez in the East Valley both
looking forward to seeing
1-0.
that.
That's going to be a great game with
That would be a
Arleta,
game for
Bill
the ages.
Cohn's football team. Ochoa is a terrific running back. The Macho Man, Oswaldo Camacho, plays
Randy
for Chavez.
Savage.
It's the irresistible force against the immovable object, Chavez and Arleta. How's that
All right,
for a build-up?
You got it.
East Valley
Got
League
it,
football.
All right, I'm
I
happy
got it
Carlos,
in.
Randy.
I got my key
This
games
is
in.
Bob. I'm Richard Strand saying so long from your friends at the SoCal Report. We'll see you next week. Maybe. Good night, everybody.
It was a fun time.
I'm LA County District Attorney Jackie Lacey, and this is my mother, Addie. 1 in 5 elders has been the victim of a financial crime. It can happen to anyone. Protect yourself and don't wire money to strangers. Don't share Social Security or bank account numbers with anyone. If something doesn't feel right, hang up the phone and call the police.
For more information, please call the Elder Abuse Hotline at 877-477-3646.
Hey, Kevin, you thinking about retirement?
I'd love to, but I'm pretty busy with all this.
Yeah. Hey, let's meet our retirement coach, Avo.
He does seem to have a lot of ideas.
A whole Avo bet full.
Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
Nice toss.
Thanks.